Looking at CMG SKX NKE and TWTR on the daily and weekly time frame. Indecision doji on CMG, and we're just waiting on earnings tomorrow. And it's going to give us a clear break. We're in a tightening range, looking at 412.17 support and 425.61 resistance. The bulls are holding up strong. We're not seeing any significant profit taking. It's all about the weekly chart on CMG for me. If we get a bull break, we're looking at 440 resistance and a break of 440 with a little triple top here. We're going to be looking at a change in the trend and a move up towards 500 psychological. If it's a bear break, we're going to be looking down at 372.87 and then on down to the lowest price we've seen of 352.96 if it is a significant bearish reaction. But pretty much what stands at stake here is either a change in the trend or continuation of the downtrend. We're pretty much in a perfect sideways position for that to be dictated by the reaction to earnings. SKX, inside candlestick today, but a very bearish candlestick with the high of the day at the open and the low of the day at the close, losing the upper Bollinger Band support. So we're looking down at 24.16 and 23.96 before this gap fill at 23.09. So the bears are taking over, and I do like the bears. Now that we have lost that lower Bollinger Band as support, there is some nice downside momentum closing at the low of the day. So keep an eye on SKX. We are looking for further pullback. Weekly time frame losing exponential support on the verge of a bearish TCG cross. And we're looking down, 23.96, the only thing standing in the way of filling that gap to the downside. NKE, bulls rejected from the middle Bollinger Band resistance of 53.20 after a very bullish buying of the dip day. So the bulls looks like they've exhausted themselves after that gap down and all that buying. So our resistance is 53.26, support is 52.61, and then on down to 51.63. Bears are taking over now. We had a clear higher low pattern that has broken. We're now looking for lower highs and lower lows with a target of a gap fill of 51.33. Weekly time frame is back testing and holding the middle Bollinger Band support of 51.93. So this is a bullish long lower wick at this point, but with 2 trading days left to go, if we see some further downside, this bullish candlestick will not look so bullish by the end of this week. Gap and trap on Twitter, tons of profit taking. And we filled, let's see, did we fill this gap? That was at 17.87, and we did fill that gap. That was the target. And how about that rejection and very weak close all the way down at the low? So bears still in full control of Twitter. Gap has filled. That was the target for a potential bearish entry when we saw the bulls begin to show up back here, and we never got to that level, but now we have. Gap has filled. And we'll see if we head back down towards $16 and that support down in that area. Rejecting from the 50-week moving average resistance again of 17.49. And this is a weekly chart. We're just looking down at 16.33 and 16.16 as the supports to be keeping an eye on. So SKX and Twitter following through with their bearish overall weekly downtrends on the daily chart now catching up. And CMG, we're waiting on earnings. And NKE has also made a bear break of the higher low pattern. So all of these names with the market holding on strong, showing their little bit of individual weakness with just CMG waiting on those earnings. So I appreciate you watching. We'll keep checking in here. Keep an eye on Twitter and NKE and SKX bearish, and we'll check back in on CMG after we get those earnings results tomorrow.